Very excited today. You guys need to watch this show. We have the godfather of real estate, Alfonso Cuadra, and his queen, Helene Nordstrom, on today's show. So stay tuned.
The godmother.
We were gonna say that. I was like, what? Let's just the queen. She's the queen. Welcome to the next episode of Same Page. We're your hosts, Sarah Semajust.
And I'm Lénar Semajust.
Today, we have two amazing guests with us. Two people who don't really need an introduction. They are business owners. They are real estate experts. And two people that we are honored to call our mentors and our friends, Alfonso Cuadra and Helene Nordstrom. So welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, good to be here, guys. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what? We are so excited. I know, Alfonso, we talked last year about you guys being on the show, and it wasn't until, this month that I was actually able to get something together and find a time so that we can meet. So I'm super excited. And I know you guys are on a retreat in Arizona right now. So we're so happy that you guys were able to make some time.
Yes,
for
The whole day, she's keeping me.
Don't forget.
Because
I like to get excited and like, oh look, well, let's go look at this. No. We have to be back at the hotel.
And then with the time change, we're trying to think. Okay, was that 6 o'clock or is that 7? What time is 7? No, 2 hours back. 7, 9, 10. So we're all day. We're like, okay, we gotta go. So very, very happy. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Of course. And I appreciate, Helene, that you keeping him on time, because we're like, we need to be here and do this.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to, right?
Exactly. So today this conversation could go so many different ways, because we know you guys have a lot of experience and you guys could bring a lot of values to our listeners. But we really want to talk about you guys and as a couple, as business owners together, and how that runs. So first, I'm going to start by asking you, so that everybody kind of gets the whole picture. How did you guys meet?
This is fun, actually. We met in a speaking contest. He's a speaker
And she's a speaker.
and
Hey,
we were competing against each other. We didn't know each other at all. We did the competition. I won.
oh,
That's how we got started.
Yeah.
A year later, we didn't see each other for the whole year. We're in the same competition again. We come up to the contest and both did our speech, and he won.
Okay.
So at that point,
I had to win. You know what I mean?
and so, when you're in sort of a competition and you're with someone that's kind of interested in the same things you are, and you talk to someone, and even though we didn't know each other, that instantly, oh, hey, this guy seems kind of interesting. So it kind of tweaked my attention and my interest. And the next level of the competition, I went to watch him just as a spectator, and there was a dance and some dinner. And we ended up hanging out the whole dinner, the whole dance, the whole weekend. And we've never left each other's side since then. And that was 10 years ago. So
there's something really interesting when you hear, like, first of all, being a speaker is not a normal career that people want to
or even
pursue.
a hobby. It was a
Yeah.
hobby for me. It wasn't a career. It was just an
But
interest.
even just an interest, as an interest, people don't like, they associate, they say that people when the average person, when they say, would you rather die or speak in public, most people say I'd rather die, right? So it takes a really interesting person that
To do it for fun.
Wants to be out there speaking in public. But there's something really amazing about hearing someone put together their thoughts, like in public, right? Like
It's the real side.
yeah, there's something about how, and I remember her talk, the one she beat me, when she beat me, and she had a talk, it was about the 7 minutes. And she comes from the funeral business, and she has a really keen insight on death, which is a really hard subject to talk about
Mhm.
to begin with. But it was such an interesting talk about the silence and how the best thing to say is nothing, because
Sometimes.
when someone loses a loved one, you know, they don't want to hear the regular things. Sometimes you just need a hug, right? And the best thing to say is nothing at all. So like I turned around, so I did my talk, and I'm like, yeah, I nailed this. This is good. Like I nailed this.
Yeah.
And then she did her talk, and I'm like, oh boy. And then the guy behind me is crying, right? I'm like, okay, this guy, like she won this for sure. And so there was a level of respect that I had for her because we're at that point we're colleagues,
Right.
And competitors.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
competitors. Yeah, and there's a level of respect that I had, you know, and I've respected her so much in that level. That when I won, then we did another, the third year, which she didn't talk about, where she coached me, and she brought my speaking to another level, because I could listen to that constructive criticism
Mhm.
and really respect it, because I know number one, she cares for me, and number two, she's really good at what she does.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of how it started. We're talking about 8 years ago,
Oh,
9 years,
it's
9 years,
9 years ago,
9
9
years
years, not
ago.
quite 10.
Well, we actually
Yeah.
met 10 years ago,
Yeah,
you know?
but yeah, so it's been a long time
Yeah.
ago, and so that's how we got started. And like I said, it was just the easiest, and
Yeah.
it was just we've just never left each other's side since then. Literally, it's just like
You know
that.
what? I sort of knew that it was at a speaking something conference. I didn't know you guys were competing. I thought
Yeah.
you guys were listening.
No.
You both met. So that's really cool.
That's really cool.
And from what I understand, Helene, do you also have a real estate background, or is it more when you met Alfonso? Like, tell us a little bit about
It is when I met Alfonso. So I'd always had an interest kind of hovering in the back of my mind, a thought of maybe I would fix up my basement and rent it out or do some flips or things like that. But I was never really in a position to do it. I had a really great job, loved my job actually, and had kids and a life that just didn't give me the time to dedicate to it, or so I thought. And it wasn't really till I met Alfonso and I could see what he was doing, and he had his properties already. And I was sort of, well, I think I kind of want to do this too. And so we started talking about, doing something together. And so it was a few years after we got together that I said, okay, I think I'm ready let's do this. Let's do it. Then my first building was a 14 unit building. And well, I mean, I have a great coach, so I never would have done it.
You got to start it. You're going to start right.
So when I started looking, I was like, at first, like I said, I was looking at putting an income suite in or doing a flip. And then as I could see what he was teaching, I'm like, this maybe makes more sense. And I was like, why don't we start with something like it's a 10 unit or something? He's like, yeah, that's my girl. So right away at that point.
Well, the thing about it is, like, I had a really great business, I've been doing real estate for 23 years. Mm-hmm. And my business, there's always things missing because, I was married to my ex-wife at the time. She was really not interested. And I thought that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, oh yeah, one person just was really gung-ho. But she took an interest and she loved it from the beginning. And so I said, okay, I know that, she's really great with people. I mean, like, being in the funeral business, she's talked to people at their worst, right? At the worst moments. And she's really great with people. And it's sort of like tenants, really,
If you like people and you deal with people, you can, it's an easy transition to deal with them in any situation, right? So I like people.
So we kind of split the business in terms of, like, I would focus on acquisitions and then she would focus on operations. Mm-hmm. And so I was transferring all that knowledge to her, but she also felt like, okay, you know what? Like maybe I should go to what was it? Algonquin?
I took the Algonquin Real Estate Foundation or property management foundations course.
Yeah.
Just
to have an insight.
Just something. It was new to me. This is a new business, and I've always had the idea. I thought it would be very romantic to work with your partner and to live with them, work with them, and
And
have the same goals.
Is
and
it romantic?
It is actually.
Okay.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, for us.
Look at us. We're in Arizona.
That's so true.
We're working. This is work, and it is. It's. I don't really think it's for everyone, but that was always something I always really thought would be like the ultimate in perfect in a relationship, to have your partner be your actual partner with everything, and that's, I think. My passion is not real estate. It isn't. But my passion is doing this because we're doing it together. And I find that exciting, and I find it interesting. And when I see his passion being that, it's exciting for me to be part of that, because I actually love all the things that we do around it. Like it doesn't, I see a deal, it's like, okay, that's cool. But I love the actual management of a property, or
she loves all the things that I don't.
The design of things and the renos, and look, we got a unit to flip, and I love this, and so I get excited about that, and I think it works really well, because I don't really want to ever analyze a deal or look at a deal. I don't care if the numbers make sense. You tell me, and then I'll do it. That's it. It works. So that's, I think, where it's been a little great partnership and a great pairing. And I was excited to get into this business with him because of it.
Okay.
She was working for the funeral home.
I was working as a funeral director and cemetery service.
Also doing the business as well.
Yeah, after hours.
It became ridiculous. It was like, what are you even going there for? Like,
the last year I worked in the funeral, I only had 3 weeks of vacation, and I ended up taking 3 weeks vacation plus an extra 7 weeks unpaid, because I was spending time with this, and we went on some vacations, and after a while it was like, why am I even going there anymore? What's the point? At this point, we just need to do this and focus on this together. So that was what we did.
And then since then, the business has gone through the roof. Like we found it's a family business. Like we have my daughter, her son works for the business. My daughter is involved with the business. My mom works in the business. Who else?
Well, we manage my daughter's property.
Yeah, like it's really it really feels like a family operation that we have, and even the people that work for us, they're like family. And I mean, we're in Arizona right now, and we have all of these people that are working for us right now, and we can sleep easy. We can put our heads on the pillow and know that on the table on the pillow, and know that everything's being taken care of. And for us, we can look at each other as like, yeah, we did that. Like we created that freedom for ourselves that we didn't even think we had the capability of doing, even though we were always in real estate or whatever. But now it's like we have freedom because of those systems.
Nice.
You know what? I love like you guys said so much there, and like I love how you guys compliment each other and all that stuff. So like kind of dig a little deeper as to how did it look like when you guys first started working together, and to implementing those systems, learning your strengths and your weaknesses, and gradually, scaling to where you guys are at right now.
Well, I actually think this kind of speaks kind of the way our life has been. When we first met each other, and when you're in those first few months, and you're just like, oh, this is such a nice little bubble we're in, and everything is so romantic and lovely. And I remember at one point we were talking about this, and it's maybe 3 months in, and we're just like, it's just like, when does it get hard? When is it weird? When does something happen that's going to make this change? And when does that end? And Alfonso made this point, and it has sort of been something we live by, is that why is it always the fight to swim upstream? They say you got to fight, fight hard and swim upstream. And, why not go with the flow get in your little canoe and just make little steer like corrections every once in a while and just float down the river and actually enjoy it. Use the power of the water to bring you forward. And if you need to make a course correction, it's a quick and easy one. You just do that. And I think, so that's kind of how we live our life. Like if things are starting to get a little bit like tumultuous and we're feeling like we're getting bogged down, we just sort of say, okay, wait a minute, let's just step back a sec. What are we doing? Why are we fighting this? What's the reason? And we're quick to make that decision. So in our life, but in our business, we follow the same thing. So if there's a property we're looking after that's not doing well, or if there's something about it that's not,
sell it.
That's it. We got to sell it or get rid of it, because if it's pulling us down, then we have to just like recorrect and go the other way.
And there's always things that have like a bad vibe to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then just let it go.
Yeah.
Like, why are we fighting for this? Why are we hanging on to something that we don't need to? And so I think it's been an easy process for us because we both really are on the same page when it comes to that. Like we literally want the same things. We don't want to fight for things hard. If something doesn't happen, it's probably not meant to happen.
Deals, employees.
Yeah. If things need to go, they go. And we're both pretty much the same. There have been occasions for sure that we've maybe differed in how quickly that happens, or maybe the method of doing it. And you're right. Yep. There are conflicts, and, and even that isn't a bad thing, right? You can have a discussion or even an argument about something because you're passionate about it. Right. And as long as you know that whatever the other person says, we might have to say, okay, let's talk about this again tomorrow or the next day, right? Let's be honest, it happens.
Yeah, well, I'm an idea person, right? I'm the romantic, right? I see things and I'm like, yeah, and she's like, well, who's gonna do all that work? And then it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Like maybe
is gonna be
think about this for a second.
So it works pretty easily because again, it always comes back to like, does this make sense? Is this gonna make our life better? Is it gonna make it easier? And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Everything we do needs to be fun.
Yeah.
That's the rule, right? We need to be having fun in everything that we're doing, even with the coaching and mentoring. Like if it's like, she knows I get so much. So there's so much fulfillment that I get from that, and she knows that about me. She knows that I need that, right? I need to connect with people. I need to help people. That is my nature. Last year, was it last year or 2020? Yeah, towards the summer of 2020, I was just like, I got to do a workshop. And so I organized a workshop in my office. Okay.
5 people.
5 people, whatever the rules were, I was going to follow the rules,
5 people, 6 feet apart.
So everybody started freaking me out. Like, oh, you can be responsible if someone gets COVID or whatever. Yeah. So
disinfection.
So then I'm like, okay, let's prepare an email to make sure that people know that we're going to be safe. We're going to take all the protocols. And then she said to me, well, why are you even doing this? Like, it's not like I was making money from the workshop.
It was just literally doing it for a day.
Yeah, it was not like I was charging people. I'm just doing a workshop. And then I remember I'm like, the people are in my little room and I'm in my little boardroom and I'm doing this workshop, and there's a glass, and she saw me through the glass and she gave me this look like, okay, you need this.
Kind of like what you feed off. Like,
I just realized then that, so this guy's on Zoom calls all day. And after 14 hours of Zoom calls, some days he comes back and he's energized. He's not tired. Wow. He's not exhausted. He's still full of energy. And this is what he needs, right? I couldn't do that. I could do 14 hours of Zoom calls. I can spend 14 hours with people, but I can't do a Zoom call. But then he loves it. And I realized then that, this is what this guy needs. So it works.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it is very tiring to be constantly, at least I find it, to be connecting with people all the time, especially on Zoom. I have to say, it, just like everybody else, it took a lot of getting used to during the pandemic. I remember the first day I had like 3 Zoom calls back to back. I took a nap after. I was just, I can't.
That's me. I'm
Yeah.
stressed. I'm like, I'm looking at the wrong place.
Yeah.
Cutting in and out.
Well, the thing is, like, I need humans and I need to be in service.
Mhm.
Like I do have this belief that I was put here to serve,
Mhm.
and I need to be in service, or else I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like on the way here. So we're in you said in Arizona. So we have an event in Temecula, California, and then we have another event in Irvine. Okay, so we're here to come to serve. We come here to bring the message, right? And so we're driving down so we drove here, okay? And so we're driving and we see this other truck with the convoy, Freedom Convoy.
Oh,
I'm like,
yes.
we are in a convoy right now. It's a financial freedom convoy, right?
Yes.
We're in a financial freedom convoy. And then so it's like, that's what we are fighting for. We're fighting for people's financial freedom.
Yes.
And we're here to engage people and help people as much as we can, right? And the last thing on my mind is like how much money we're gonna make or what's gonna, you know what I mean? I just do things.
Mhm.
And so like for our dynamic to work, you have to be like, we have to understand I have to understand what she needs and what she needs to feel fulfilled. And there's certain things that I need to feel fulfilled. And if we don't understand each other, this is where often a lot of couples fight, right? Because everyone has certain needs, right? And because to live a life with fulfillment, that's happiness.
Yeah.
Without fulfillment, you're not gonna see happiness. So there's certain things that she needs to feel that fulfillment. And I have to make sure that in everything that I'm doing, I need to make sure that I can include, for example, she feels fulfillment when she's entertaining, right? She's an entertainer, right? She likes cooking. She likes, renovations. So I like the things that I'm doing. I also need to think about the things that are going to be interesting to her and bring her fulfillment. So when we're both fulfilled, think about the energy that we can create together, and now we're in a position where we can serve even more. We can serve more people.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Now I really understand. I think when we first met, Alfonso, and just with subsequent conversations, you had mentioned to some people where, like, if their spouse also wants to join the coaching, then it's even better. Yeah. And I understand why you say that, because you also come from like a family where, you know, the couple is working at it and you see the benefits. So it's really, and we see it too. Mm-hmm. And I always tell Len, like, if Len wasn't into real estate, I don't think I could do it by myself. Just constantly convincing him why I'm on Zoom calls, why I'm seeing properties, why I'm spending that time. They really have to be part of the bigger picture and the bigger plan, right?
Yeah, I agree. And there's nothing better than having, like, working. It's like a team that plays together.
Yes.
They you know, like when you watch an alley-oop, you're like, how did he know that the ball was going to be there? Right? How did he know? Well, they've been playing together so much that they trust each other. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it is. Like, I know that operations and things are being taken care of. So that gives me the energy to go and find even more stuff, buy more, because now I know that we have a system.
Right.
I know that once that job is done, I'm going to pass it over to her department, and it's like an alley-oop, right? It's like, boom, you're there to, and so it's amazing. I really recommend for couples to work together.
I think it also, our personalities are so similar. So I think there's certain personalities that you can have a really great relationship and not work well together. Mm-hmm. I know couples who have wonderful marriages, but if they had to work together, they just couldn't. Mm-hmm. And I think for us, because our personalities are actually very similar, we think the same way. And although he is way more over the top than I would be as far as his energy level of his ideas and things, I think that way as well. And so we're both a little bit frazzled when it comes to like organization of our office, for example, and our desks are messy and things are, but we all know where everything is and we get it, but we get that the other person is like that. So we're a little bit similar in that way. And I think that helps because that gives me or gives us both something exciting to look forward to. And I think if you have somebody sometimes too opposite or people that don't think the same way wouldn't necessarily work that well together.
And the going back to Leonard's question, how did it look like when we started? It was a mess.
Our business, yeah.
So you go back to like 8-9 years ago, our kitchen was full of papers, and we had to understand when anybody in business, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you're busy, tired, and stressed, it's because you don't have the right people, right? And so at the beginning, we were doing a lot of it ourselves.
And we were doing everything ourselves out of our kitchen while I had a full-time job. So we're in our kitchen and we had papers everywhere. But you know what, though? Honestly, that it was fun. I mean, even
sure, we were always
I'm
having
glad
fun,
we're not doing it
but
now.
But it was overwhelming.
Yes,
right. You're living underneath paper, right? So what we said, okay, you know what? We got an office. All the paper stays at the office.
No papers come home.
We hired people to take care of the paper. Yeah. Right. So people are organizing the paper. We don't bring paper home. So when we come home, we are home.
And the best thing, you don't have to say, "Hi, honey, how was your day?"
You already know.
You don't have to talk about work when you go home.
Yeah, exactly. So, we don't talk about work when we're home. And
now, sometimes we don't go home. We don't leave. Our office is across the street from our home, and so sometimes we don't come home until
But that's good. But when we come home, we're home.
Yeah. And then it's just home. So it's a nice.
That's actually what I was gonna ask. Like, being business partners and a couple, like whether there's boundaries where you're like, okay, when is it enough? When do we talk about other things than our business? But you just outlined that, when you get home, then there's no business talk. But is that like a rule, or is it just something that happens naturally because you guys have been doing it all day together?
It happens naturally.
We designed the environment that way. So when we were living underneath paper, we have no choice. Like you're watching a movie and you're looking at oh shoot, I have to do that.
Pay that bill.
I have to do that thing. I have to do that thing, right? I made a choice back in 2020 to take the email app off my phone. I don't even have I can look at my emails, but I have to go through this weird, like I have to go in, log in or whatever. So I don't check my emails until I go to work, until I'm sitting at my desk, and I'll check it in the morning and I'll check it again in the afternoon, because I don't want to be a slave to that stuff, right? It doesn't bring me fulfillment. What I get, the most fulfillment I get from is people and engaging with people. And when I'm at home, sometimes I want to be with my girls and like I want to binge watch Netflix or whatever, like I was like one Sunday we stayed home all day.
we didn't do anything.
We're like, this is a very productive day.
It actually was,
because
you need
our objective was to binge watch Gilmore Girls. Okay, right. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed with my 16-year-old. You know what? That was the objective, and we sat around, and I had like my jumpsuit all day. And we did it, and then on the Monday we went in and closed, millions of dollars in deals. So we can have that, like the misconception is that if you're trying to scale or grow your business, you can't have the family life, you can't have balance. And we're here to tell you that you can have it all. You can have the family, you can scale the business, you can grow, and it usually includes people. You have to engage people, because while we're binge watching our show on Sunday, there's other people executing.
Something has to be happening.
Things are happening because we build that team. We're in Arizona right now. We're going to be here for about a month and a half. Okay, Arizona, California, and I mean, we have a whole schedule planned. We're going to go to Vegas. We're going to do this, and our business is still running because we cultivate people, we help people, we're in service to people, and the result is we attract the right people to us, and they want to stay and they want to do good work, and then that creates the freedom that we have.
That's amazing. And just the fact that, you're away for a month and a half and your machine, your well-oiled machine is still running. That's really cool. And I admire that because this year, I remember, Alfonso, you talked about, if you think you can't afford somebody to work for you right now, that's the time to hire someone. And we're there. And you're talking about the papers, like behind all this.
Yeah.
Like papers and property taxes.
Yeah, we have to angle the camera to just avoid everything.
But we were there. We were there, and like we were at one point. We're like, what are we doing?
And you do have to be careful not to let that creep back in because we are business partners, because our business is important to us, and because we believe that in what we're doing and that it is actually helping other people too. Like we're here today with some people that we've just met, some students that I have just met, and they're amazing people. And we had the best day, and they're able to experience this as well. And it didn't happen automatically. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes on, you have to do a lot of things and a lot of planning, and it is a lot of work, and it's exciting. So you can get really wrapped up in it, and you can spend your whole life just focused completely on work. And I think as a couple, you could risk the sort of identity crisis as a couple, that your relationship becomes your business is your relationship. And it's not like that. That is a very different thing. I think we've put a bit of an emphasis on trying to recognize those things. And we've just spent 4 days in the car from Ontario to here. And we listened to about 2 hours worth of music, or like it was actually a stand-up comedy thing. And the rest of the time we talked. And it was nice to talk and just talk and go over what we like and what we want and our goals. And we've made it a habit of every year going away somewhere, or even at home, or wherever we can. We usually try to go away for a week's holiday somewhere. And that was our goal week. And we would spend our week, and we have a book, and we write our things in, our goals and our plans and our aspirations for the next year and everything that we want to do. And it comes true every year because we've done it together. And
we're the only people that go on an all-inclusive vacation and lock yourself in the room and just do our goals.
So we sit there and we write our
pad. You're like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. That's. And
at the end of the day, we come out and we're like, wow, it looks like it was hot out today.
That helps us understand what both of us want, because in a span of a year and even 6 months,
things can change.
You what you want can change.
Exactly.
Yes. I like
and if you don't take the time to come back, it's like, okay, like, are we still on track here?
Want this?
Do we still?
Are we still going the same direction?
Are we in an alignment? Then what happens? People get out of alignment.
Yes.
Right, and they start doing this. Right, and so for us, we've never done this. Like, it's always been, okay, we're growing together, and we both need to understand what we both need in order to feel fulfilled, because fulfillment comes to happy. And then that's why we can spend 4 days in a car and hanging out, you know what I mean? Hanging out and having fun, because it's like, oh, like, yeah, what about this? What about that? What about that? And it's like, it's fun. I don't see it any other way. I don't like, this is my person. So
I love that. And like, on top of like setting goals with each other, and obviously like you guys are connecting, you guys are communicating, what other ways are you guys, what other things do you guys do for personal development? As far as, because Alfonso, that's one thing that you always talk about. It's like, it's either you're contracting or expanding. So what are you doing in order to develop yourselves so you can expand?
So one thing that we did on the way here is we did listen to some CDs on leadership.
Okay.
We understand that in our business, for our business to continue to grow, we need to develop as leaders. And what does that mean? It means that we need to continue to add to ourselves, read content or books on leadership. And it's not like a fun subject matter, right? It's not like, but the techniques that you can learn can help you create freedom. So it's like sometimes you have to do things that maybe are outside of your comfort zone or you're not used to in order to get to where you're trying to go. So right now, a lot of the personal development that we're working on is on leadership. And then also on couples. Like there's what is it, 5 love languages?
Love languages.
Yeah.
That was the first episode.
That was our very first episode.
Yeah,
so
it's important.
Yeah, so we
Very
understand each other and what our love languages are. Now, before COVID, there was lots of conferences, and we would go to. We've been to like Unleash the Power Within. And there's certain things that we're like, okay, what's the next like thing that we're going to learn or whatever, you know, but hopefully with the return of conferences, we love that. We love to go on a vacation somewhere where we're going to learn something.
The next thing that we want to do is actually a couples retreat. We want to go on a couples retreat and spend time as a couple learning couple-y things, you know, like I don't think you wait until your marriage is in jeopardy or your relationship is in jeopardy to start seeing a counselor. I think you go on a regular basis. And that has been something that we haven't actually done, but it is on our list of things to do in the very, very near future. And so I've been researching some different ones and different programs and different things because I really think that's important. And I actually think in our business, doing what we do with so many friends that are couples, it helps to, you know, for people to have that and to offer insight. And what you guys are doing, I think is amazing too, is because, you know, this is important. This is so important that your person is your partner and you know that you've got that connection.
We've talked about that many times. Like, how can we help more people? And like we thought of, okay, maybe we should run like couple retreats, you know, investor couples, right? and to kind of work through the good stuff and the ugly stuff, right? And you know, in a span of 3 days, you can really like dig deep on where people are. Like sometimes people like, are we even on the same page? Right? Are we even on the same page? And you know, the fact that you guys have this show and you guys, you know, kind of the premise is, you know, how to be on the same page and couples and encouraging couples to work together or be together, you know, or grow together. That's amazing. I think the world needs that.
And go ahead, Helene.
Oh, I was just going to say, we just hired an amazing couple as one of our supers in Brockville, and I absolutely think this couple is amazing. They've been together for a long time, and we were talking, and he actually said sort of what you were echoing is just like couples need to like they work together. He goes, I love working with my wife, and they do, and I feel so happy leaving them in charge of the buildings because I know that they're in alignment with the way I think, and I like how they are with that, and I really do think that if you have a partner that you're able to find that does that with you, you can be just so much more productive and so much better. And it just works. Yeah.
Two heads are better than one.
Yes. And you know what? Ever since we started Same Page and, you know, we post a lot about our investments, we get a lot of people, it could be the husband or the wife coming to us and asking, how do I get my spouse interested in real estate? Because one is like super into it. The other one's like, okay, you know what? Like it's not my thing, but you guys are the perfect example that it doesn't have to be everyone doing the same thing. I think a lot of people think that you both have to be negotiating. You both have to be looking.
No.
And actually that's very counterproductive, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that I always say is like, well, look at your strengths and see if there's something that fits your strengths that you also enjoy. Because if you don't, then it's just you're gonna resent the other person because you're following their passion and they're not following yours. So it's definitely up to the couple to find, you know, that balance and see if they both want to be in the business. But there's so many aspects of real estate. You could, you know, if it's an Airbnb, you can pick out the furniture, decorate, whatever it can be, right? It doesn't have to be exactly like what people typically think of the real estate of what it is. So I love that you guys complement one another. You're not stepping on each other's toes. It's like, Alfonso, you're like, I acquire stuff, and then there you go, you do your
take it.
And then she knows that with the like, because there's a plan in place, and she can execute that plan, right? So I know that once I've handed it to her, she's gonna be able to execute, and she knows that what I'm handing over, it's
needs
gonna
to
be
fit with our plan, right? Obviously, so it has to be something that we can do, and you know,
and going back to the goals, we can say, okay, are we on the same page here, right? So, you know, we accumulated all these assets. Well, just recently we said, you know what, we'll take the bottom 20%. Let's liquidate these assets. They're no longer serving what we need in our goals. They're no longer in alignment, and we could redeploy that capital into things that are more in alignment with where we are right now.
Very very good. And I think you said you do it every 6 months, which is really, is that
every year for sure? And every 6 months, it's not quite as formal, but we kind of go through and we sort of do it again.
But it should be done every 3 months.
So
every
together
quarter.
we do it. So on our own, we do it separate, like, so that you still have to have your own goals, right? It's important that you don't cloud your own identity and you don't.
So we have 3 books.
Yeah.
I have my book. She has her book. And then we have The Power of Us. We have a book that we call The Power of Us.
Leonard's just getting the
charger. We have to just do ours too. Down to 1 bar.
Okay, so say that again.
So we have 3 books. I have my own goal setting book. She has her own, and then we have one together, and it's called The Power of Us.
And it's
so we have our goals together.
We may adopt that.
Yeah. What's that?
We may adopt that.
Yeah.
Do please. It's the best thing, and it's so fun because we sit there and we each do our own first, and then we figure out what it is and we share that with each other, and then we work on the us book together. And I love it because it's often we'll see like, okay, well, I wouldn't have thought of that as a goal for us. I wouldn't have put that, but often a goal that he would have and a goal that I would have, when we put them together, it actually is a better goal, like something that's different maybe, or better, or just like something that is what we wouldn't have been aware of or even thought of on our own. And I think that's where we, like I said, we called it The Power of Us. And I love that idea. I don't know. I don't know how we came to decide we were going to do this, but it started right away, like back right the very first year we were together.
Yeah, it's like this idea that we're better together.
Yeah, and it's nice. I found out recently though that my grandma and grandpa, they both passed away a few years ago, but they had done this every single year on New Year's Day. From the time they got married, they had boxes full of books. Every single year, they redid a contract with each other and they signed it. And I only just found out about this when my grandma died. I like, we were going through her stuff and all her books were there. And every year, and they would sign it and they'd put their names and their dates and all the things that they did like in the year and all the things that they wanted to do in the next year. And I just love that that's kind of something that they did too. I just think it's so touching to me. But it's not even knowing, it seems like you adopted that. Yeah, without even knowing, it's just something in there, I guess, that maybe I heard it somewhere. And, like sometimes you just get a little, or there's a vibe somewhere that somebody sent to me. I don't know. But anyways, it's working for us. And, I really think that people.
We have a vision board.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Put our things on it. And, and we always talk about those things. And we make highlights out of the things that are fun and important. Well, there's a lot of things that are fun. Like we really do. Every day is it has to be fun. But when we go on a holiday or a trip or there's a special event, we make a photo book of it, little shutterfly book, and all our photos. So we have a stack of them of all the things. And
yeah, that's a good point. I believe in your environment.
Yeah.
So when you go home, what do you see, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of pictures of ourselves.
Our room is full of our walls of
to
pictures.
all the memories of like all the trips that we like all our. It's like when you wake up, you remember of all the happy times you have together.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, yeah. Like,
I like this guy still.
Yeah. I don't know, like not all couples do that, but.
Well, I know I was married before and I had a good marriage. Everything was fine. And I always said to myself, though, I didn't want pictures around. I said, it just clutters up the place. I like things to be clean. And it's not modern when you just plunk a family picture on it or you put your wedding picture from, back in the olden days. And, it just looks so, ooh, that's bad. What was it? And, I never wanted to put that out because I never thought that was important. And I look back now and I realized, you know what? I think that was important. I do think that is something that you need to do. You need to remember. And we'll wake up in the morning and we're like, remember that. Oh, remember that day. And I love that. Oh, look, I'm wearing the same shirt.
We have a wall with our properties, like a whole wall of pictures of our properties.
Yeah.
It's like, when you look at it, it's like, look, this is the power of us.
Yeah.
Right. This is what we did. Right. And it's a good reminder, of what, like the energy that we brought together, we were able to create all these fun things.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You guys dropped so many gems. I think I'm definitely going to be replaying this even prior to this coming out because I just want to take some notes. You guys are an amazing couple. I'm so happy that I feel like we found you guys and we're like clinging on because you guys are a breath of knowledge. So our viewers are obviously, they're going to want to contact you if they haven't already. So what is the easiest way for them to reach out to you if they have questions or they just want to hop on a call?
So
I'm hard to find.
Yeah, she's not very social media wise.
I try to be, but I'm not. But he is.
But I'm very Googleable. So
Yes, I know that.
I would say go to my YouTube channel, and if anything I say on there resonates with anyone that's watching this, reach out.
Awesome.
Great.
And we'll put all your handles. I think pretty sure it'll take pages to put all of that in the comments, guys.
Thank you very much for blessing us.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, this was fun.
This was fun.
And it's needed. It's needed.
Exactly.
We appreciate your time. We appreciate diving into maybe an aspect of this power couple that it's not out there. I feel like we kind of revealed some secrets that weren't revealed before. So I'm definitely this was such an honor. And we'll talk soon again. And for viewers, you saw the background of Alfonso and Helene together and how it all started. And if you want to reach out to them, we'll just drop it in the comments. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And don't forget to live your truth.